Good morning, everybody. It's Rita Smith, #1 Food Fairy. I'm here this morning because I cooked the turkey for soup and just to have meat in the fridge. I figured before I chopped the turkey up and got rid of it, I would take you through my process for making turkey broth, which can then be used for any number of other things. It's magical. I have it in my freezer all the time. And once you've had homemade turkey broth, you will, or chicken broth or beef broth, you'll really be dissatisfied with the amount of the chemical taste that comes from the cubes or the packets, and the salt that even comes in the low sodium boxes of broth, although I do use Campbell's broth on occasion and it's awesome to have it quick and ready to go. It is very salty compared to homemade, and since I taste that difference so automatically now, it almost kind of wrecks store-bought broth for me. So I always try to have a giant container or 2 or 3 or 4 of chicken broth or turkey broth in the freezer. So here with this pan, I roasted the turkey in this pan. It's a Cuisinart pan. I got it for $100. I've seen them for $300. It's a fantastic deal, and it's among the best things I've ever purchased. Pan is really important. And part of what I like about it is that it has this lifter. It came included in the price of the pan, which is pretty awesome. I'll just set that there for now. I can take it away. This is going to be added. This is the drippings from the pan. I put a bit of water in, about an inch of water in with the turkey when I cooked it, and this will end up in the soup. But we'll put that off to the side for now. Fortunately and coincidentally, I had bought this really neat bottom tray from Dinette's when it was still open. And so it holds the tray and actually catches any of, or holds the rack and catches any of the drippings that might occur while I'm pulling the turkey apart. So this is a whole turkey. It's missing one wing because it was a utility grade turkey, but that doesn't take away from the usefulness of it. The whole turkey cost $7, so at 88 cents a pound, I think I paid last fall. Pretty awesome. So I have a couple of different containers going on here. One is for all meat, and the other is for bones, knuckles, skin, anything else that comes out of the turkey that you don't actually want to eat will go into the stock. Okay, so I'll start with the legs, the dark meat. We'll just pull off everything. I wouldn't actually want any, nobody wants to eat that chunk of skin, fatty skin, so we'll throw that in to the soup. We'll make sure to get the knob of cartilage out from the leg, and then there's also some little bony pieces of cartilage in the thigh and the leg that you want to pull them out while you're cleaning the meat to the best of your ability, because they are pointy and people could choke on them. So I go through there and I try to pull out all of those, and as much of the cartilage, tendons, bone, skin, okay, all of that goes in there. None of it goes to waste. You just don't want to chew it in a sandwich. Okay, thigh bone. More meat, skin goes into the soup. Meat goes into the bowl. Okay. Oh wow, that looks really good, really tasty. As the older I've gotten, the more I have become a fan of dark meat. It's more tender for starters. There's not a whole lot to write home about on the wing, but just in the middle of the top you will come across some meat that you want to save. The skin and the bones will go into the soup pot. Okay. If you pull the whole breast off, you can pull out the breastbone, smaller bones along the ribs, the whole back. If you get the back out at one shot, you'll save yourself from having to deal with all those tiny bones, pulling them out of the meat later, or finding them in your soup. Bone for the pot, bone for the pot. Inside skin. Oh, there's the wishbone. I'll dry that out so Johanna and I can make a wish on it someday in the future. Although I hear rumors that she just had a major wish granted yesterday, so we won't be too worried about that. Okay, so this takes just a few minutes, not really long at all. Okay, there is big thigh bone there. Another thigh bone. Oh, there's the tail. That'll go into the soup. Nobody wants to eat that. This is all meat. A bit of cartilage. We'll take that off. Okay. What else we got here? Nobody wants to eat that. That'll go into soup. Okay. Okay, nice white meat, bone, cartilage, bone, meat. Okay, this is the breast of the turkey, and I will set that aside to slice up nicely. Try to get as much of the skin off as possible. To slice up nicely for the things that you want the nicest white meat for. Sandwiches, different things, turkey salad, things that people actually see the grain and the texture of the meat. It's nice to have the breast kind of set aside. Anything that's going to be chopped up as turkey salad or turkey a la king, turkey stew, turkey soup. For all of that, I can use the dark meat. Our family's favorite recipe, which is turkey balls, which is basically just turkey salad portioned into balls with mayonnaise and maybe some almonds or some sunflower seeds. I use a mixture of dark and light meat for that. I prefer it with dark. Some people like their turkey salad to have all white meat. Forrest is very anxious that something might fall off the table here. He'll catch it for me immediately. So there's a big chunk of skin. Nobody wants to eat that, but it'll be awesome in soup. Okay. There we go. So we're making pretty quick work of this turkey. All the bones, yeah, no, there's nothing there anybody wants to eat. Okay, that's from the back. I won't be able to get the small bones out of that. What's going on under here? All that can go in. Okay. And then I'll just, on top of my bowl of meat here, I will just put the breast. I'll deal with this later. I'll cut it up and package it up. We'll get rid of this for right now. And we'll look at some of the other things that go into soup. Was that a carrot falling on the floor? Okay. So, here we have all the bones, all the skin, all the cartilage, all the tendons, anything that is in there that's not actual meat will go into the stock pot. And then also in the stock pot, I gave these a rinse. I'm going to put a couple of whole carrots. Okay. Celery. And the celery doesn't need, you know, beautiful store-bought fancy dipping tray celery. I usually use the ends and the leaves from the inside, the cuttings from the top and the bottom, almost all the things that you would normally throw away. Today I just happen to have some actual nicely sliced celery, but there's nothing that says you need to go to that much work. Generally speaking, I use the crummiest of the celery that's available, the ends that nobody wants to eat. Okay, the onion, oops, I should probably do this so you can see it. Every piece of the onion, including all the onion skins, goes into the pot. You don't need to peel the onion, although you should give it a rinse, because everything that goes into this pot is going to get strained out. Okay. I'm going to toss in a couple of bay leaves, and to be truthful, at this point in cooking, I'm not even going to add any salt. I'll let it cook for a while, and I'll put in maybe 3 bay leaves. 1, 2, oh, 1, 3 and a folded over one. Okay, so we have the bones, the skin, the cartilage, the tendon, the celery, the carrots, the onion, and some bay leaves. I'm going to fill it almost to the top with water, just enough to let it simmer. Keep simmering down. It will cook for, you know, all day. I'm going out to 2 business meetings today. I'll put it on to cook before I go. I'll get it heated up to where it is simmering, and then I'll turn it down to minimum or number 2. And leave it sit all day, and then by the time I get home tonight, it will be ready for me to strain out all the solid components, reserve the broth, and then I put it outside. In the winter, I put it outside to let it chill. In the summer, I put it in the fridge, so all the fat will rise to the top, and I can skim that off. And I'll do a completely separate video on how to skim the fat off of chilled broth, which is a great thing to do, reduces your fat consumption, makes the soup taste way, way better. And then, as I noted, I don't put a lot of salt in because some of the things I use the broth for might call for soy sauce or might call for a coriander seasoning that is actually pretty salty that I use. And if you salt it now, then you're much more limited later if you want to make sweet and sour dish or a pho or any dishes that would call for this broth to which you add soy sauce, fish sauce, spicy pepper sauce, Thai seasoning. Those all have salts in them. So I prefer to know what I'm going to use the broth for and then add the salt at the time if it's necessary. So I'm going to just pour the drippings that you saw earlier from the pan into this, fill it up about 1 inch from the top with water, and let it cook for, I'm going to say at least 8 hours. And then by the time I get home from work today, it will be ready to pour off, chill, and skim off the fat. So here we go. Number 1 Food Fairy signing out. Hopefully everyone will be encouraged to make fantastic homemade broth very, very easily, cheaply, super cheaply. And it's just so great to have on hand for every kind of cooking that you do. Take care. Bye-bye.